Okay, so now students, today we will implement random forest classifier and AdaBoost classifier, and we will also compare the various classification models as we have seen by the previous exercise. Those are the logistic regression, support vector machine, KNN, and if you remember the one important classifier, that is a descent tree classifier. So descent tree classifier, KNN and SVM and logistic regression we have seen or we have covered into the ensemble learning. And after implementation of these models, we will implement two new models. Those are the random forest classifier and AdaBoost classifier. After this point, we need to understand which model is better. So we can compare all these models by getting the accuracy. From this point, I'm going to start this lecture with the very beginning. First, we will implement the random forest classifier. And as we know, random forest classifier or random forest technique is a part of the bagging. That is the point you need to keep in mind. What is mean by the bagging, and that part we have already covered. So bagging means various subset will be treated as an estimator. We will use all these subset of the actual data set, we can say, or the in the random forest. So as we know the term, that is the tree. So tree basically the collection of trees are also recognized by the forest. But here the information of the which is chosen by the which is selected by the distant trees will be selected as a random. So out of the one of the distant tree may provide the better result. So we will see this concept properly. But if you want to implement many distant tree in your program, again it is better idea to implement a random forest and as a classifier. So suppose you have any problem which is supporting by the classification, so it is better idea to implement random forest rather than the distant tree. And descent tree will be the base model for the random forest by default. And I will tell you what the parameter and where we can pass the parameter. And that is an important point you need to keep in mind. So here we are creating the random forest classification model in the machine learning. And a random forest classifier model is a machine learning model and which is aggregated by the many decision tree. And that is the point you need to keep in mind. Okay. And after executing this cell, I'm moving to the next cell, and that is very interesting cell. See, we are trying to import Pandas library, and why we are importing the Pandas library to make the data frame as it is written over here. Now, here what we are doing, we are trying to access the information through the data set, and this data set I'm giving over here name weight height.csv. So weight and height.csv is the name of our data set, and in this data set we have the three important features: height, weight, and gender. So weight, all weight, height, and gender are the features, but from these three features you can observe over here height and weight are the important features on which we can predict something. So that's why we can say gender would be our dependent variable, while height and weight would be the independent variable. So from the variable that is a DS, is the name of the variable. I'm just keeping the information of the entire database that belong to the 10,000 information. So here today we have the huge amount of the data set, and from this point we will try to implement our new model that is the random forest classifier as well as the adapter. And we will use this data set to implement our various predefined or existing this classification model. Those are the logical relation, SVM, KNN, and DTC. That is the descent tree classifier. Now I'm just executing this code. Then after this code, what I need to print into the next part, next cell, you can observe over here. We are trying to print the number of the columns which is to be handled by the this data set. So in between the execution is going on. So you can observe over here, I have the message that is the print the data set. So I'm printing the data set, and after printing the data set, I will show my proof how many data information we have. Okay. So from this point, you will able to see over here. Here we have the three important features. One is gender, height, and weight. You can observe over here the row index will be starting by the 0 and last row index will be maintained by the 999 4 times 9. It means how many rows we have? 10,000 rows and three important columns. Those are recognized by the attributes gender, height, and weight. And from these attributes of these three columns, we have the height and weight features, and gender would be the four features that will be recognized by the dependent variable. Now, This portion is visible to all right now. Tell me this portion is visible. So we have the 10,000 data.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the first time we are using the 10,000 data to implement our model. Now, after this activity, we need to understand how many columns we have. Suppose we have the small amount of data set when we have the limited number of the columns, so we can observe over here. But when we have the 20 or more than 20 or 25 columns, then how we know and how we recognize? So there is a simple variable or simple idea by which we can show, that is to know the number of the column with their names. Of course, we can use this syntax, and we have used this syntax so many times, so we are not discussing more over here, and no need to discuss more over here, because by the simple command we can see, or by the simple syntax we can see, we have the gender, height and weight. Next part is saying to us, from this point you can observe over here, height and weight would be the our dependent variable, independent variable, of course independent variable. So what we are doing, we are trying to choosing the, or we are trying to choose independent or independent variable from the our defined data set. So what the step we are going right now, we are just trying to prepare our data set. So it's time to split our data set into two important parts. One is the features or target variable, and features can be identified by as a independent variables, and target variable can be identified by as a dependent variable. So independent variable I can put like go to the directly over here, or it is better idea to keep the information in form of like this one. So it's your idea how you are represent. If you're remembering an example when we have solved our logistic regression problem, where we have used the height and weight and gender information, and into the KNNV and KNN we have also used the height and weight, and based on these features, we have decided the t-shirt size. So we are not doing anything idea new. We are not implementing new over here. What we are doing, we are just using our previous exercise and by updated data set only, nothing else. So we are filtering our information by the independent variable or dependent variable, as you can see over here. So X would be our feature independent variable, Y would be our target variable, dependent variable, response variable. So I'm executing this code over here. So we are keeping this information. Let me print these values over here. What is to be maintained by, or what is to be handled by the X variable? That is the printing the values of the independent variable. So I'm printing variables, because we have the with one variable but multiple features we have, so would be one independent variable. Let me print this part. So now after this part you will able to understand height and weight, starting from the 0 to 4 times 9. 9 we have, so 10,000 rows and 2 columns we have. So these 2 columns belong to the height and weight respect. Same thing we need to go for the Y, and after executing this code you will able to understand now here total number of the data which are to be handled by the Y, and that Y is our dependent variable. See, this is the point where we are just trying to get our information. Okay, here we are not predicting new information. We can do that, would be possible, but we are trying to implement the only the classification or classification models only. So, but these data is required whenever you need to use the training data or testing data. So training data or testing data, we need the X or Y data, or we can say independent or dependent variable. So these variables are required whenever we're doing any activity. So after this point, the question can be asked right now. You can ask so many questions. Sir, in 10,000 data based data set based information, or we can 10,000 rows based information, there may be some chance we can have the null value. Okay, am I right? So to know that we have the null values or not, in our option over here, so how we can remove and how we can identify? So of course, with help of the drop any method. So if I'm using drop any method, so it will drop the those rows and columns which contain by the not a number values or null values. Okay, so that is a point you need to keep in mind. And after this point, I'm displaying the size of the data set without the null values. Let me execute this code in front of you, then you will be able to understand 10,000 rows we are getting by the same data set as we have seen. It means the data set which are using by us height dash weight.csv, it does not contain any single value which is to be represented by the not a number or null values. Now, from this point, what we have done our important activity, that is known as the prepare the data. Yes, tell me right now. This point is clear. So what we have covered? Just tell me right now. Any doubt over here? We have prepared our data set. Okay, without any null value, or we can say, we have complete data set, because in the machine learning your data set must be complete, not incomplete. So if you try to get the performance of your model by using the incomplete data set, definitely you are doing rubbish. That is the point you need to keep in mind. As this point I have spoken so many times. Now, so we have prepared our data set without null values. Now this point is clear to all people. Right now, tell me this point is clear.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes. At this point, you have any doubts? Please, you can ask me right now. Do you have any problem?
No, sir.
Okay. So after this step, what we need to do, our next step is saying to us, we need to split our data to important parts. One is training data set, other one is a testing data set. So as of course, as about the previous exercise, so many times we have done by using the train underscore test underscore split method, following by the model selections library under the sklearn package. We will do this activity over here. So I'm executing this code. Yes. Yes, this is activity I am doing, but the what size I must take over here, training or testing data. Can anyone just tell me right now what size I must use for the training data or testing data? If you want to update, then I can update. By default, we have taken the 30. Yes, tell me right now what size I must use for the training or testing data. Can anyone tell me?
Sir, it's okay with
Sir,
30.
50% for training and 50% for testing.
See, my dear, I have already spoken so many times here. Please keep the training data set more than the testing data set. Okay, so now update.
But
Sir,
sir,
it's
just
okay with
for a
30
practical
only, sir.
purpose.
Okay, just for
I
the practical, yeah, just for the practical purpose, I can do. No issue, no issue. For the practical purpose, I'm updating the my size of the testing data set. That is 50%. No issue, no problem. Okay. So I'm again re-execute this code in front of you. Now it is executed. So what is the size of training data and testing data? So I'm using the this part. What does it mean? From the extract variable, we can understand what is the size of the training data size and what is the size of the testing data size. So we can accept this point. Let me execute this code right now. Now it is showing over here, and it is showing that 5,000 each and every values belong to the randomly, of course, belong to the training data and testing data, and to represent the features or independent variable, because you have chosen the independent variables values. Okay, so this is the our data will be split. And now our data have been split over here without any doubt. So we have done this activity right now. So far, what we have done, we have split data set and split data set into training and testing data. So far we have completed this activity. Now it's time to achieve something in better way to show my proof over here. So what I'm doing over here, and let me show and let me explain this concept properly one by one, then you can understand. Whenever you are having any doubt, then you can ask me, no issue. So far, as you can see over here, we have prepared data set and split our data set into training and testing data set we have done. Now, it's time to build our model. So which model we want to build first? Definitely random forest and AdaBoost. We will implement one by one. So our starting point was we need to implement or we need to create first model, that is a random forest. So what I'm doing, I'm just trying to create the random forest classifier. So random forest classifier is the name of the method, and which is a name of the class, and it is a part of the ensemble library, as we have seen the previous part from the sklearn package, of course. Okay, so now we are creating the object of the classifier. So with help of this random forest classifier class, we need to create an object. Why create object is required? We need to create an object over here by passing some parameter as is demand. Why we are doing? Because without creating its object, we are not able to access its features, or we can say its method or property. So the class property we are not able to access without the creating object. So I am giving the name of the my object over here, that is the basic underscore rf. So the point you need to keep in mind before moving ahead, a forest is a collection of the many decent trees. That is the point you need to keep in mind. And what is the new things I'm using over here? Just let me explain over here before creating the data object, or before creating a class object or passing the parameter as well. As we know, we have also seen descent tree can be solved by entropy method to calculate the impurity and then get the information gain. This is the important point we have already seen. So in this parameter, in this class that we are using random forest classifier. When we create the object VSKRF or any object of this class, then we need to pass some parameter, and based on that parameter, what we can do, we can create our object properly, and with help of that object, we can fit or we can build the model. So here what we are doing, first we are creating the object, and at the time fitting the model towards the training data set, we will build the model. So we are on the process that is known as the building the model. So random forest classifier, I'm just taking over here, and I'm using first parameter that belongs to the n estimator. This n estimator is defining the total number of the distance tree you want to represent in your information. So here we have the huge amount data set, there will be no issue, but just right now tell me what size I must take over here for the estimator or for the tree. That is an estimator means we are talking about the total number of the distant tree that is to be supported by the random forest. Yes, tell me right now. I have taken over here 100, but if you want to update, I can update. Just tell me, student, right now what value I must take in terms of the total number of the distant tree. Just please tell me right now. Tell me any value. There should be more than 100, 200, 500. If you want to speak anything, just you can speak. No problem. Because we have a huge amount of data set, so we can adjust the values. No problem. Now tell me right now.
Sir, 120.
120.
Yes.
Okay, so 120, I can write over here 120. So 120 means we are trying to implement our forest by using the 120 dysentery. Now this point is clear. The n estimator means we are creating a forest by using the 120 dysentery. That is my point. So in the dysentery, in the random forest classifier, if you want to use, then it defines that you are using the total number of the dysentery, that is a 120. Next parameter is saying to us criterion is equal to entropy. So as we know in the dysentery, our impurity we need to calculate it by the entropy method or Gini method. Okay, this Gini method we have not seen because it was not part of the curriculum. So, but if we try to understand, we can understand each and every concept in detailed manner. So we need lots of the time. So due to the restricted time period, we have completed this part, that is entropy. And why entropy? Because entropy is the better tool which provides the impurity, and we can calculate the entropy in simple way. So that's why most of the people or most of the author and scientists will use the entropy method rather than the Gini method. So criteria means entropy of Gini we can pass, and by which we can get the impurity, and we can calculate that is to be calculated by the dysentery to get the information gain. Okay, and that is the point we need to keep in mind. And while learning the dysentery, we have already discussed this important point. Now, next point we are coming over here, that is a parameter we are passing maximum depth. Maximum depth we are passing 200. The maximum depth is saying to us in a tree. Suppose we have any tree, just like the fundamental part I'm speaking over here, data structure. So in the data structure we have seen in the tree, just following by the various parts or various components. That is number of the children node, number of the child node, number of the left node, number of the right node. Okay, so here you're talking about the n number of the n estimated, means you're talking about the total number of the dysentery, and with respectively those dysentery, how many levels you want to have in your dysentery. So if suppose I have a tree, so what is my depth of my, or what is my level of my tree? So based on this parameter, I can define the total number of the nodes into the that tree. So here we have the maximum depth, but if you want to update, then you can update, no issue. You want to take the 1,000, of course you can take. There will be no issue. So maximum depth we have any values, but keep in mind we can't take the maximum value 20,000 because we have the row, we have the data in limited way. So if you have the data training data, we have the 5,000, so then you can't take the value more than the 5,000. This is the point you have to keep in mind because each and every row belong to the node. So if you try to fit our model by the training data set, so definitely you can't take maximum depth value more than or maximum depth value more than the 5,000. That is the point you have to keep in mind. So suppose I'm fitting my model by the 6,000 and I'm taking the maximum depth 7,000. That is not possible. You are violating the rule for defining the distance. So this is a normal problem, but we need to keep in mind all these points. So right now I'm asking once again, just can you tell me what is the value I must take over here for the maximum depth? If you want to update, then I can update in front of you and just tell me, right? Just tell me any value. Please tell me right now. What is the level of the tree I must take? Level of tree or nodes that are expanded until all leaves are pure. Just tell me right now. Anybody.
10.
Uh, could you repeat once again?
10.
10.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So after this point, what we need to do now, it's time to fit our model toward the training data set. So we have created the object, and after creating this object will access all the properties of the random forest classifier. So from this part, we have the fit method by which we can fit a YK, which we can say we will try to build our model by using the training data set. Okay, so now we need to fit the model for its building purpose towards the training data set. So we have this term over here, and let me execute this code in front of you. Just let me execute. Yes, it is being executed. Just tell me. Yes, after executing this code, you will able to see here the random forest classifier is created. What is the criteria we have passed for calculating the impurity? Maximum depth we have taken the 10 as according to student demand. And number of the estimators we have taken the 120, of course, again as according to student demand. So what is the next activity after building the model? Of course, we need to predict our model. That is the point. Why? Whenever we need to get the accuracy, whenever we need to measure the performance of the model, so first, what is our responsibility? Our responsibility is saying to us, you need to predict the model. Because based on the prediction data and actual values, so based on the prediction data and actual values, you can measure the accuracy. So for calculating the accuracy score, what you need to have or you must have prediction value, predicted value. So of course, prediction will be done by the our test data. Okay, so what we have here, test data we are passing over here to predict our model. And what is the object? What is the object? VSK underscore RF. So with help of that part, we are creating the new prediction of we are creating the prediction of the random forest. So I'm taking the name of the variable over here. I'm changing it by underscore prediction equal underscore RF. That is equal to VSK underscore RF dot predict. So by using the predict method, we are trying to predict our model. Let me execute this code in front of you, then you will be able to understand. This is the predicted, this code is executed perfectly. Next part is saying to over here, here we can display prediction values by random forest classifier and also know the size of the prediction based on the testing data set. So what does it mean by this? By prediction RF means the value that is to be represented by the predictions value. Okay, and what is the size of this portion? Let us execute. The size that should be, okay, I can write over here. Size should be equal to testing data. Okay. So what is the testing data size? 5,000. Let me execute this code in front of you, then you will be able to understand. Yes, here we are getting the information. This one. So we have the 5,000 information. So it's showing only the limited information over here, and these three dotted presented. We have the more data. Okay, and total number of the values in the prediction will be contained by the 5,000. It means we have this part over here. So this is the part by which we have done some activities. Right now, tell me any doubt over here? How to build the model? So what we have done, we have built our model. So far what we have covered. So far we have built our following steps. We have completed the following steps. One is preparing the data set, building the model, and predicted the model by testing data set. These three steps we have done for the random forest classifier so far. Now tell me any doubt over here before moving to the next part. Just tell me right now any doubt you are having. Yes, tell me students, any doubt you are having, please you can ask me right now. Before moving to the next part.
Sir, please scroll up for a minute.
Which one?
Sir, the upper part.
More? It should be go more?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to, sir. This one only. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So far what we have done, I'm repeating once again to all the people right now. We have prepared a data set, we have built the model, and what model we have built? We have built a model by using a random forest classifier. Classifier. Okay. These three important steps we have done without any doubt over here. Now, next part is saying to us, what is the next task? The next task is saying to us, you need to measure the performance of the model. After using this use amount data set, what the performance you are getting by your model? So, what are the various parameters as we have seen the various classification model? Of course, confusion matrix, accuracy score, classification reports. We can do no problem. Again, I'm explaining these three important aspects carefully, so please listen one by one. By using the confusion matrix, we will get the information of the how many true positive, true negative, or false positive, false negative values we have. Accuracy score is saying to us what is the accuracy you are having based on the testing data and prediction data. And classification report will give the summary detail of the prediction values and its recall values, and it also categorizes the information based on the female or male. Of course, we will see no problem. So by using the matrix library, we have the different classes, confusion matrix, accuracy score, classification report. We can use all these parts and we can get the detail properly. So what is the parameter you are required to pass in these three important functions? Those are the confusion matrix, accuracy score, and classification report. Same, we need to pass the actual values and the prediction value. Now, is it visible to all the actual values and prediction values? So, what is the prediction value and what is the actual values? I can write over here once again to the people, then you can understand. Y-test is a testing variable. Is a testing variable of the data set while is the repeat variable of the random forest classifier. The point you need to keep in mind here. By using these parameter, you can calculate the confusion matrix, accuracy score, and classification report. And these are the important parameters by which you can evaluate your model. So here, what we are doing actually, So here, I can write over here what we are doing. You can understand here. We are evaluating our model. Okay. Let me execute this code in front of you, then you will be able to understand. Here we got some information, that is a 2350182226 and 2240. Some these values represented by the confusion matrix, and that is to be handled by the true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. Okay, and that is one you need to keep in mind. I am writing here on my notebook what is the accuracy we are getting from the random forest. So that is a 91.8%. Please keep in mind this value we are getting by the random forest. And let me explain classification report once again over here. The classification report is saying to us we have the total number of the data out of the random 5,000 data. See, training model, we are using training model. So, and we are using testing model, testing data set. So, we have the 5,000, I'm speaking once again, we have the 5,000 testing data set. And from the testing data set, actual data testing data set, out of the 5,000, 2534 value belong to the female information and 2466 belong to the male information. And from this parameter, the presence value we are getting for the female, that is the 91%, and male we are getting the 92%. Same thing, we need to go for the recall, we are getting 93%, and with respect to this value female, we are getting the 91%. And accuracy score we are getting the 92, and that is we have the 91.8, which is equivalent to the 92%. Now, this is the point we need to keep in mind, and here this 5,000 values belong to the total testing values, total value of the testing data set. Now, this point is clear right now. This classification model accuracy, how we are getting, is it clear to all? Any doubt over here? Just tell me right now, any doubt you are having?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So, after understanding this point, what is the next model we need to implement? Here, very small code by which we can understand. Now, so we are using the training data set to build our model. We can do it. But there is a question over here, my dear student. Just let me explain step by step, then you can understand properly. Is there a good way to prove we have used a good model? Is there any proof? Is there any good way? So you are using the random forest classifier. Okay, right now. Are you sure you are using the good features to build your model? I am asking some questions. Okay, so I'm updating this question like this one, or we can say, or based on used feature, is your model is better? This is my question. Based on your used features, those are the height and height and weight. Is your model is better? Can anyone tell me, is your model better? Just tell me, is it better or not?
Yes, sir. As we are getting 91.8% accuracy.
Yeah, I agree with this point. Suppose you are getting the accuracy 56%, then you can say it is
Yeah,
not a better.
not
That
that
is not that is not better. But this is not a criteria to evaluate your model. Okay, the accuracy score you are getting based on the data set only. But the question I'm asking based on the use feature you are saying, but why you are not using the one single feature? Why you are using these two features? We can use only the one feature to design your model. You can choose height or you can choose any one of the option weight. Why you're choosing the height and weight together? So multi selecting multi feature is required? No, there's no guarantee. We can choose one of the features by which we can say, sir, okay, we can implement. Of course, we can implement. But why are choosing the multiple features? That is the point. See, in the machine learning, we need to understand each and everything properly, and that is the point is required. So I told you so many times, time to time, we will discuss all those concepts which are part of the learning, the machine learning. So I'm just trying to explain only those parts which are helpful to you for learning purpose only. So after building the random forest classifier and so many classifiers, we can say we have a question. So we have a two features, then we can select no issue. My question again is still valid right now. Suppose we have the 25 attributes, and among these 25, I am selecting 12 important features, and based on these feature independent variable, I am building the my model. Then I found I am getting the 70% accuracy. Then there is a problem. So here I am taking a simple example here. Then you can understand. Suppose you are going to visit a shop and your friend is inviting to have a cup of the tea or cup of the coffee. Suppose you want to have a tea, then okay, your friend is requesting, okay, please have a cup of tea from the my side, no issue. He just dropping the 1 teaspoon sugar, then you okay, no issue. Please add one more teaspoon, a teaspoon of the sugar into my cup. then I can have the good taste of the sweetness of the tea. Then you will be happy. But suddenly you are not seeing anything. Okay, your friend is pouring or just dropping the 6 teaspoon of the sugar in your tea, in a cup of the tea. Then what you feel? Can anyone tell me? You will feel the good taste or not? Just tell me right now. You will feel the good taste or not? Yes, I'm asking a simple question. If I'm offering the 1 cup of tea and along with the 6 to 7 teaspoon of the sugar in your cup of tea, then will you like to have the tea? Just please tell me right now.
No, sir.
Why? This is my question. Why? Again, this is a simple question I'm asking.
Sir, because more sugar is not that much tasty and good for our health.
Yes, you are on the right track. See, if you are having the more sugar and it is not good for your health, the same thing. If you are having the many feature, then is it guarantee the model we are trying to building it would be designed in better way? No. See, when you're just having the 10 teaspoon of the sugar in your cup of tea, so your tea will not be following the sweetness. Your tea will be bitter. You will feel your tea just like a bitter. Just like there is a proverb, so many proverbs we have read out in the while learning our schooling day. So that is the point I'm speaking over here. So if you're trying to fit your model, I'm again back to my machine learning. Suppose just I'm explaining simple way. I can write over here, then you can understand properly. Yes. So the question why still we have based on use feature is the model is better. It's okay. But here I'm writing over here. Suppose you have 25 import features, not important, right? Not features, and you have selected 20 features, 20 features, and based on 20 features, you are you are trying to build build the model, then is it possible that you have built the better model? Is it a guarantee? Is it a possibility you have built the better model? Just tell me right now. Is it a possibility?
No, sir.
No. So here, from this point, we can say when we are having the more than 1 teaspoon in your cup of the tea, 1 cup of tea, then you are having the we can say overfitting. We can say we are having the over tea. So you can say, we can say we have the over sugar. So we can't, how we can digest this one? Okay, because it is not good for the health. Same thing if you're using many features of a model. So what we are doing, we are designing our model by using the overfitting. That model is known the overfitted model. Okay. So what do you mean by the overfitted model? Overfitted model means you are trying to build your model by many features, and that is not good way. Same thing we need to do with the reverse part, that is the underfitting. So what the thing we need to keep in mind? We need to choose only those features which are important features. So what is our responsibility? We need to choose only those features which are important. Now this part is clear. Theory part is clear.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. And suppose I'm speaking over here. Suppose you have the 20 features, and out of the 20 features, selecting the 2 features. Then based on the 2 features, there is no guarantee. Again, you are getting the platform. So what you need to do over here, that is an important exercise we need to keep in mind. That is known as the selecting the important features. See, here we have only 2 important features, then we can say, oh, okay, we can manage, no issue. But this is an important question while understanding overfitting and underfitting. So overfitting, we have seen. Now underfitting means just reverse part of the overfitting. So we are not required to choose only limited features by which we can build our model. At a time, we need to choose approx. We can say we need to choose average features by which we can build our model. So definitely we will get a definitely good part. So the point is over here. This is a problem actually, and we can face when we have the many independent feature variable. So, but I've written over here, but here we are not need to worry because we have only the two independent features. But when we have the many features, then how to choose the selected features, and that is the exercise we have over here. So I'm just using the very important part by which we can do, and from the random classifier we can understand this part. So I'm just making the important feature name variable, that is FEA underscore import. This is a user defined variable, so I'm taking the name over here. If you want to update your name, if you want to update anything, then you can update. And from the series method of the or from the series function of the Panda library, we need to pass the some parameter. This is the parameter. This is the standard keyword, just like we can say feature underscore importance underscore. And this is what? This is the public variable of the random forest classifier. I'm repeating once again, features underscore importance underscore is a public variable of the random forest classifier, and by using the object we are accessing the properties that is variable is equal to x column. So in the x column, what we have? In the x column, what we have? We have the two features. What is the height and weight? Okay. So I'm using all the important parameter, and with the help of these parameter, I'm selecting the important features. So the important features, what I am making the variable. It contains the list of the entire features. We can say important features means list of the entire features. And if you want to select selected feature, then you are required to pass only those features name which you want to use. Suppose out of the 20 I want to choose only 10, so I need to pass over here only the name only 10 important features. Based on I can build my model, but here we have only two, so we are not need to worry about that part. So important feature is basically a variable of the random, is a variable, or we can say public variable, of course without handout we are accessing. So because outside the class we are easily accessible, so definitely we can say it is a public variable. So I can write over here is the public variable, random classifier, and can be accessible by its object. Okay, by its object. So X column contains the height and weight, so no need to worry about this part. And after executing this code, I'm printing something over here, and then you will be able to understand. Just let me execute. And now let me execute. So with this point, we are getting something over here, that is some values. It returns the some values between 0 and 1 based on its important features based. So based on this important property, important part, we are getting something over here, and now it defines the actually important feature underscore importance is basically a public variable which defines which is your feature importance or not. Based on this parameter, we'll try to see what is the value to be held by the 0 and between 0 and 1 height and weight. So you can observe over here, weight is the important feature than the height. So you can choose only weight, that is sufficient. But when we have the many features at a time, what we need to do? We need to see which features providing the highest rank, or we can say the highest value. And from that part, we can choose the selected feature, and we can build our model. So this is the important exercise by which we can do. And I'm showing this proof by the graphical by using the our C1 graph. So you can able to see over here. That is the portion. So I'm just doing nothing. I'm just showing my output in terms of the graph. So by which we can see it is visible. Weight is just having the high values, or we can say the highest strength, of course. So weight is more important than the height. But when we have the 10, more than 10, 20 features, then which feature we must choose? So we can pass the name of those columns, or we can pass all the columns, and from this portion we can see by printing the p underscore info variable, we can see which variable is important or which feature is important. No problem, we can do. So we can avoid, or we can remove the overfitting part or underfitting concept by selecting the important features. So why we are doing? See, with the help of this one, what we are doing by selecting. I can write over here by selecting important features. We are try to fit the model and removing overfitting or underfitting. Okay. But here we are not need to worry. Okay, because we have the limited. That is the point we need to keep in mind. And we are printing this part by the graph, so you can able to understand what the parameter we are passing. We are passing the p underscore important index. So what is index is contain? Index contain the columns name. So all the column values are printing here, height and weight, and the values p important content. So it's showing the its value like this one. What we have. Now this part is clear right now. Tell me this part is clear. Why overfitting, underfitting? We should not go through that part. We must choose the average part, so we can choose this part. So underfitting or overfitting is not acceptable by the machine learning from the selecting the features. So that is the important exercise. Yes, right now tell me any doubt over here. Yes, tell me any doubt over here you are having at any point you are not able to understand. Please tell me right now.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So after building the random forest classifier, what we are doing, we are trying to implement our next part of our model, that is a AdaBoost model. See, AdaBoost itself stands for the adaptive boosting. Okay, that is the point you need to keep in mind. It is a part of the boosting learning, or we can say it is part of the boosting learning. And boosting itself belongs to the bootstrap aggregating. Okay, so now it's time to build our model by using the AdaBoost classifier. Same thing we have done with the random forest, and from the ensemble library, what we will do, we will import our important class that is known as the AdaBoost classifier. We have done we have used the random forest classifier, but here we are using the AdaBoost classifier, and that is the point we need to keep in mind. Same thing we need to go over here. What are the other parameters we are required to pass over here? So that is a more important exercise. Once again, I'm explaining. Please listen. So now we are creating the object of the this classifier with some parameter, and bsk underscore ab is the name of the object of the AdaBoost classifier. AB stands for the AdaBoost. Okay, RF stands for the random forest. So AdaBoost classifier I'm passing over here, and I'm passing some parameter. One is the number of the estimator, that is 100. So what is mean by the number of the estimator over here? That is here we need to understand number of the estimator means number of dysentery what we have used. Okay, so here our data set, the information we have, that is split into the 100 banks. So we can divide our information into the 100 parts, and our data set will be selected randomly by choosing some information without any doubt over here. So number of estimators here means we are talking about the some data set subset or maximum number of the estimator at which boosting is terminating. Okay, I have written over here at which boosting is terminated. So that is the point you have to keep in mind. In this case, perfect fit learning procedure stopped early. And here we are passing the important variable, that is the learning rate. So learning rate basically what will do? Learning rate will stop at the moment. So learning rate is required, but I'm just coming on the learning rate. Before learning rate, just let me explain this part right now once again. An estimator is equal to 100 means we are passing the number of the subset, how many subset of data you want to use. So if you want to update, then you can update, but if you want to use the same as we have used previously in the random forest, so we have used the 120. So I'm using the same values, that is the 120 number of the estimator over here. So you want to use, then you can use, and if you want to update, then you can update. So right now tell me what value I must use as a number of the estimator. Just tell me any value, then I can update. Please tell me right now. Be fast. Tell me any value of the number of estimator.
150.
150. Okay, so I have updated according to your demand, no problem. And base estimator is saying to us which base model you want to use. Which base model you want to use. See, I'm again speaking to over here. In the AdaBoost classifier, what you are doing, you are defining the number of estimator 150. It means you are dividing your data set into the different sections. It means the data set you have total belong to the training data set because your model will be fit by the training. So in the training model, training data set, we have the 5,000, and these 5,000 data set you want to use 150. So you want to use 150, you want to divide your data set into the 150 way, and these number of the estimator will be identified by the descent tree. That is the point you have to keep in mind. So if you want to change its value, then you can change, but I'm suggesting right now the what value we have used in the random forest. So we are keeping the same values as we have used the random forest, that was the 120. So this is the reason I'm taking the same for comparison purpose only. But if you want to update, then we can update. And base estimator we are choosing over here none. So if you're not choosing anything, so it will define the by default value none. So it you can leave. But if you want to update those, or I just need the base estimator should be descent tree classifier. So you can pass descent tree classifier. And other than this part, if you want to pass any other classifier, so we have the extra tree classifier. And the AdaBoost classifier, you are required to pass only the pre-base classifier, and it is required. So that is the point we need to keep in mind. Here I am taking only two examples. Here, descent tree classifier or extra tree classifier. So you can choose any one of them, but by default I am taking none. So we have the none. So we are passing the none. But if you want to pass something over here, then you can pass over. And what is mean by the learning rate over here? So learning rate basically shrinks the contribution of each classifier by the learning rate. So suppose I am using the descent tree classifier. So we have the 120 classifier according to number of estimator. So we have the 120 descent tree, and our information will be separated by the 120 descent tree and 5,000 information we have. And learning rate, what will do learning rate? Learning rate will shrink the contribution of the each classifier. Each classifier means descent tree classifier by some learning rate. And here we have some value, that is 1. You can update any value, no issue. So what does it mean? It provides the trade-off between the learning rate and an estimator. So what does it mean by the, we have the 5,000 data, and among these 5,000 data will be divided into the 150 descent trees, and this descent tree following by the some learning rate. If you're not passing any learning rate, then no issue. But you want to pass, then you can choose any values, no issue. So I'm using only the one. If you want to update by the 5, 2, 6, 7, no issue, you can use. So, and it provide, see, the learning rate provide the trade-off between the number of the estimated what we have, that is the 150 or 120 as we have done over here, and it provide the trade-off. Trade-off means of communication, so that each and every classifier contribute some stringiness separately to adjust your data dynamically. So that's why the name was over here adaptive boosting. Adaptive means you are approaching something on the dynamic nature base. So that's why on the basis of learning rate, we can add up the information dynamically, and that is the beauty of this classifier. And see, random state is the optional part, but if you want to use, then what is the mean of the random state? Random state is saying to us, if you want to control some random node or seed over the descent tree or on the descent tree, then you can do with the help of the each average iteration, you can update, you can do. So while performing internally, what it will do, it will update some level, it will update something dynamically or at the time of the boosting mechanism. So what we can expose we can expose this concept by the random state. So random state we have the one. But if you want to update some values, then you can update as according to demand, then you can update. So no issue. So tell me right now, learning rate or random state I must change, or we should keep like one. So just tell me right. Anything you want to update over here? Just tell me right now, you want to update something or should I keep all these values as it is? But I'm choosing a number of the estimator as is 120 as we have used in the random forest. And each and every theory I have just put it over here. Just tell me right now, any doubt over here?
Sir, base estimator is not clear. Please elaborate.
See, base estimator is saying to us which kind of the tree classifier you want to use. See, we have the so many tree classifier. So I have taken only two examples, descent tree classifier. See, what is the classifier you want to use internally to implement as a boosting classifier? So here you can use only a tree classifier, and in the tree classifier we have the descent tree classifier, extra tree classifier. So these are the two important classifiers. These are the name of the classifier. See,
Sir,
these
if
are
we are setting it to none, then which one it will select?
see, by default it will assume anything. It's a depend on the its AdaBoost classifier. So it just assume anything. So randomly it will selected by. So we are not defining. See, base estimator we are equal to none. It means we are not defining by the user manually or expertly. So internally it just assume anything. It will use any it will use any pre-classifier and it works finely. So no issue. Output will be
Sir,
there.
any means any of these two, dysentery and extra.
Yes, of course. Instead of you want to use just like this one, dysentery classifier. So what we can do, we can write like this one. We can write like this one. So it means the my boosting classifier will work on the dysentery classifier. So I'm specifying expertly. That is my point. Instead of if you
Okay,
want to
sir.
use
Okay,
if you want to
understood.
use if you want to use any other classifier, just take this one. We have the extra classifier. So we can pass. See, this is the point. But if you want to use your KNN, so KNN is not possible. If you want to use SVM, SVM also is classifier. And KNN is also classifier. And that is to be used to classification model. But why we are not passing over here? Because we are using some estimator to represent our information to subset way. And that is to be handled by the trees only. Because the tree, we can split our information into the its children node basis. So that is only possible by the some classifier, and we have the some internally defined classifier. Those could be the extra tree classifier, okay, tree classifier itself, and distant tree classifier. That is my point. So I'm just leaving none. If you want to use, then you can use. You can update this code according to your demand, no issue. So I'm just leaving this one, right? This one. Now, any value you want to update by the learning rate or random state you want to update. So tell me right now, I can update or I can leave as it is. Now tell me. But I'm keeping the n number of the estimator 120 because we have used the 120 estimator into the random forest. That's why I'm using same values. So now tell me any value, any doubt over here? No doubt. Now can I filter my model towards the training data model?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after executing this code, now my model built, that is the AdaBoost model will be built. So I'm executing this code. So after this code, a message to be displayed over here. What is the learning rate you have decided and what is the number of the estimator you have chosen and random state. See, here base estimator we have the none, so nothing is to be displayed over here. And after executing this code, now it's time to predict my model by using the testing data set as we have done the random forest. So I'm executing this code in front of you, then you will be able to understand. So now I got my new variable name, that is by prediction AV, that defines the prediction values of the AdaBoost classifier. From this point, same thing I am doing what we have done. We have prepared the model, we have built the model AdaBoost, and we have predicted the model by testing data set. And after this, I'm executing the same code as we have done the random forest, and let us execute this code. Now you can observe over here, it is providing the 92% accuracy, while random forest given the accuracy 91.8% accuracy. This is the point you need to keep in mind. So AdaBoost providing the accuracy 92.0%, while random forest providing the accuracy 91.8%. So this is the reason random forest classifier. We can say in ensemble learning model, AdaBoost classifier is better than the random forest. That is the point we need to keep in mind. And here we are using the 10,000 data set. So of course we can say we have the good data set. So at least we are working on the actual data set, we can say. So AdaBoost is better than the random forest. Now, should I explain this? Explain all these part because we have completed this part into random forest. So tell me right now, this part is clear to all, or should I explain what we are getting? What is the value to be represented by this part? We are getting the 92% accuracy, no problem. Same accuracy we are getting, but in terms of the decimal, we have the 91.8% accuracy by the random forest, while 92%, 92.0 we have the accuracy by the database. And same as number of the estimated we have chosen. Now tell me any doubt over here?
No, sir.
Okay. So what is the new thing? I have implemented my first part. What is the part I have implemented? Implementation of the random forest database classifier. And next part is saying to us if you want to compare the various classification model by accuracy score, so we can do. So now tell me what are the previous classification models we have implemented? We have implemented logic regression, we have implemented KNN, we have implemented SVM, we have implemented. Just tell me which model? Dysentery regressor. Instead of dysentery regressor, we can use a dysentery classifier over here to know the answer. So what we need to change? Instead of the dysentery regressor, we have to use the word or we have to use the class dysentery classifier. And in ensemble learning model implementation, I have already used this work right now. So I'm copying that part from my previous practical session here. So what I'm doing, I'm just copying the previous part here to show my proof which model is better. So let me execute this part. We have used dysentery classifier, logic regression, support vector machine, and KNN. Model 1, model 2, model 3, model 4 these are the various objects of the each and every model. So depth we have used, how many depth we have used? We have used the depth, just let me write over here. What is the value of the depth we have used? The maximum depth we have used 10. Okay. So I am also updating its depth over here. See, in the dysentery classifier, I am also taking the 10 depth according to the student as he decided in the random forest. Logic regression we are building, dysentery by building, support vector classifier we are building. Nearest neighbor, if you want to update any value, this value should not be more than the 5,000 because training data belongs to 10,000. I'm updating by the 500. No problem. You can update. If you want to update any value, just tell me right now what the number of the neighbor I must take. Just please tell me right now any value. What the number of the neighbor I must take. I'm taking the 500. If you want to update, then you can update. Just tell me. Tell me anything. Tell me any value of the key number of the neighbors.
Sir, 5.
5 is the smallest, no problem, but I can accept this value. And metric equal to kilodin we are passing that defines we are calculating the number of the node distance from the each and every neighbors we can calculate by the distance by user including distance. Now I'm executing this code, so different classes will be called into my program, and I'm fitting my model toward the training data set. So I'm not making any new training data set. I'm using the same training data set that is we have used for the random forest and database classifier. So I'm fitting my model. It means I'm building my model, that is logic regression. Next model, I'm building dysentery classifier. Here I'm using the 10 number of the node, 10 number of the maximum depth we have used. So I'm just using same part. So now dysentery classifier is built. Now support vector machine. Yes, we are building. We are using only default parameter. We are not passing any kernel values, no issues. And here we are using the KNN model. So now KNN model built by the equivalent distance, no issue. Yes. Now, after this point, what is our responsibility? If we need to measure the prediction, if we need to calculate the accuracy, so each and every model is required to have prediction values. So, of course, by this approach, we can predict. So, I'm executing this code. So, prediction 1, prediction 2, prediction 3, prediction 4 belong to the logic regression, dysentery and support vector classifier, and KNN predictions value respectively. I'm passing the k-test, x-test, same value I'm passing. I'm not doing anything changes here. After executing this code in front of you, let me execute once again. Now, I need to check what is the actual value which is to be held by the testing data set. And what is the prediction value which is to be managed by each and every classifier. So just let me execute. But before executing this code, just let me show my proof over here. By prediction value belong to the logic regression. By prediction 2 belong to the recent tree. SBC using the support vector machine classifier using the by prediction 3 values, just like this one you can observe over here. And by underscore prediction value will be maintained by the KNN. And if you remember, I have used the by prediction RF for the prediction value of the random forest, and I have used the AdaBoost algorithm to predict my value. I have used by underscore prediction AB. Let me execute this code. Now we got the actual values and we got the prediction values, but here we have a problem. We are not using the small amount of the value, we are using the 5,000 value. So it is not easy to detect, it is not easy to determine each and every information properly. So what is the parameter by which we can do? So of course accuracy score is better idea. So we can use the accuracy score, and by using the actual values and prediction values of each and every model, we can check what is the accuracy to be generated by the each and every model. So this code is nothing right now. There will be no sense for using this code because we are not using the small amount of values. We are not using 10 values, we are not using 20 values. We are using the 5,000 values in big amount. Okay. So to measure your idea, to measure your models, what we have, we need to use accuracy score. So I'm using accuracy score, and logic regression accuracy, I'm using the previous code as we have done. Prediction one is the prediction value of the logic regression. Prediction 2 is the accuracy of the descent tree, and prediction 3 value belong to the support vector machine, and prediction 4 will be represented by the KNN. Same code we have already used while learning the KNN algorithm, if you remember. And I'm using the two different values, two variables. One is a RF underscore ACC, AB underscore ACC. These are the random forest accuracy user defined variables. By testing, I'm passing the its prediction values. Same code. And I'm just by the multiplying, I'm printing each and every values or variable over here, and let us check what values we are getting by each and every models. And all these models belong to the classifiers, or we can say classification model. And let me execute this code, and after executing this code, you will be able to understand 92.14% accuracy we are getting by the logic regression on the same data set, same training data that we have used. Decently providing the model 89.3, so we have the very not good way 89, but somehow we can say it's okay. But support vector machine is providing the better result than the descent tree. Why? Because when we have the small amount of the data set, then descent tree will work fine. But while in the case of the support vector machine, we have the small amount data set, it always provides the first result than the descent tree. So everything is dependent on the data set. If you remember in the my class, I told you support vector machine is not suitable for the small amount of data set. It is suitable for the better for the large amount of data set. So here we have the 5,000 data set on which we can do. So of course, so here we are getting the higher accuracy than the descent tree. Now come to the KNN. So based on the its neighboring, we are getting the accuracy 91.12. And now you can observe over here random forest classifier also giving the 91.8. If you remember, same we are getting the accuracy over here. And AdaBoost, we know it provided the accuracy 92. So from this point, you can observe over here, logical regression is always better. Logical regression is always better. After that, we have the AdaBoost model. So logic regression is most popular classification model in today's era. Whenever we need to try to solve any problem, even a small amount data set, or even we have the huge amount data set. But other than logic regression, what are the various models by which we can evaluate our model? So we have the descent tree, support vector machine, KNN, random forest, and AdaBoost. So what we have we done this activity over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please keep in mind here we have implemented 6 different classification models in a single program. And in this world, you will not find any program which does not support the or which implemented by the 6 different models. This is the first program you are seeing over here.